we just haven't seen what it's capable of. And that's the worrying thing. So we try and anticipate what's going to happen and try and protect things, because I think, you know, in many cases in life, prevention's better than the cure. And if we can try and stop it transmitting, that's half the battle. But the problem with locking down is regards to, if we forget COVID for a minute, your bacterial threats, which have always been there. You know, E. coli hasn't just taken a holiday and gone away. That still accounts for a huge amount of problems in society. The fact that we've not been interacting with each other like we usually do can have an impact on the general immune response of the public, because we're not coming into contact with people. We're not coming into contact with as much kind of bacterial and biological threats as we usually do. You know, we're sanitizing a lot more, which means that on a daily basis, we're not taking as much kind of foreign bodies and bacteria into our systems for our bodies to learn to get rid of stuff. So we've all taken a 3 or 4 month holiday away from our immune system doing its job. And when we all come back into work, when the furlough scheme ends, there's going to be a lot of people piling back into offices together with potentially slightly less resistance to the everyday stuff that we've always been resistant to. And so this surface transmission is something we really need to take seriously. Aside from COVID completely, I think your other biological threats, your MRSAs, your E. coli, your other nasties that we used to deal with before COVID, start coming into play as well. In a big way.
I mean, I was talking a few months ago about this, and it's like the secondary risk factors is exactly what you just described. The bacterial element. We're built to move. We've always been in proximity with other people, even if we're relatively isolated. When you go on transport, you go in shops, you know, you're shaking people's hands. You're transmitting and passing on bacteria on people's skin. And that effectively keeps a healthy immune system. Now, that's naturally in all of us has been suppressed because we've had less proximity to people. So the virus is one element to it, which, as you're right, it can mutate around, and there might be some extremely virulent strains of it that might be a lethal dose of it. However, in those particular situations, they'll tend to burn through their host reservoir faster than the ones that like common cold. The common cold keeps coming back because it's very successful and it doesn't really hurt anybody. It just makes it shocking for a few days. And I don't mean to undersell that. But then the bacterial element to it also, like you say, when people are coming back into proximity where you take the face mask off, or you're on public transport, trains, buses, etc., you're back in the office, you are going to get a situation where people will get a bug this year or potentially in 2021 that this time last year they'd have got it and it'd be like, I just a bit of a sore throat. I'll be right. Now, like, I'm not coming in today. Why? Because I feel like death, because it's going to hit them harder. And I think that's where it's going to feed into this, like, well, is it COVID? And it's like, well, no, not necessarily. Yeah, so you're going to get all this one. So I suppose what we're talking about, to bring it back to your system, your solution is, you get rid of a lot of these by bringing it in. And you said it lasts for 27 days, so what, 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks?
4 weeks. 4 weeks.
Right.
Yeah, we usually have like 1 every 4 week treatments.
If you took a hypothetical, so an office space or warehouse space, a communal area that people are coming and going in, you'd go in and treat it, and then you'd come back within 4 weeks or every 4 weeks. Have you got something that goes longer than that?
Well, that's one of the interesting things. I mean, we don't like to sit still as a company and just kind of rest on your laurels. We've been kind of developing this and pushing on as much as we can. And as you can imagine, I'm sure being in a PP kind of company buying and selling, you find products that claim the earth, and then you look into it and it delivers very little. So we get approached by all sorts of chemical manufacturers and suppliers and use our products because it does this, and this. But we never take anybody's word for it. So we will always do independent testing against any chemical that we think might be worth using. So we're looking into one at the moment, which is really, really promising. That's going to be able to offer us a 90-day protection on all surfaces. We are, doing our due diligence on that, because the last thing I want to do is go into a place and start spraying stuff around that I really don't know is absolutely 100% bang on what it says it's going to do, and safe and environmentally friendly and all the rest of it. That has to come into it. But I mean, that's really exciting, and hopefully we'll have some news on that within the next few weeks to a month, I'd say.
Okay.
But again, there's a lot of really good science behind it, independently done scientific studies, because I tend not to trust the ones that are sponsored by this or that or the other, because
Yeah.
you can pay for the results you want. So we like to send it off to independent labs to test, and just the results come back, come what they may. And if it's not good, we don't use it. And it's as simple as that.